right. I thought I had a little bit more time than it gave me. All right. I feel like I'm missing. Hold on. We need black over here. Black. Oh. Black Friday. All right, so I'm going to load up my palette while I wait for people to get on. And we're going to do our makeup. What do we have here today? None of the colors. I need to get a new palette for eyeshadow too. Okie dokie. So while we get on, hello, Kathy. Good to see you. I'm going to be doing my makeup. And I did a pick my look in my group. You know what? What am I doing? And the look that got picked today was Sabrina Mama, Lullaby, and Black Friday. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't like Black Friday. I don't like it at all. I'm missing a color. What color am I missing? Anyways, I don't love it. So we're going to I'm going to do Salem. So for me, there's a lot of people, everybody's different. Black Friday is a cream. I have yet to find a way to make it work, especially for my hooded eyes. So I have these little hoods right here, and this comes down pretty good. So if I do a wing, it transfers. It never sets. It's a cream. It sits in a palette that's not airtight. So I'm assuming that's why. I don't know. I've yet to find a way to make it work. So I'm going to use Salem instead. So we're going to have, gosh, my Sabrina is low. I need a new one. It's very pretty. I'm not going to switch it out because it is very good, but I'm low. So we got Sabrina here. We're going to have Mama. I love Mama. I love it. Mama's so pretty. These colors, these are soft colors, and I'm going to do a bolder pink cheek. Good morning, Sherry. We are playing with makeup. Lullaby. I think Lullaby is probably one of my top colors that I love so much, and I'm going to play with it and make it probably 2 colors. All right, it's a 4-color eyeshadow day. Okay, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. A little bit different. And I'm only going to do half my face. So I'm going to do my eyes first and my brows, but I'm only going to do half my face. And it's because I really want to do this tutorial, and I don't know what the rest of my week is going to look like because I'm already late. We know I'm already late. And I'm trying to find a place there it is to put Kiss because I've been using Kiss a lot. I love it. I want to say people have been asking if it's like Crush. I'm gonna swatch it. Let's swatch Kiss and Crush because it's compared a lot in my group, and maybe you guys want to see it too. It's very different. I don't know what made people think that they would be the same, but I mean, they're different. There's nothing else this tone when I look in here. There's just not. So I'll swatch it because people keep asking for it just so y'all can see it. And I figure if they're asking there, maybe somebody's asking here, and I'll swatch it at the beginning. So this is Crush right here. And then here is, I will say this, Crush is easier to pick up than Kiss, but Kiss is just orange. They're not the same. They are not the same. If you have, sometimes I'll tell you, like, if you have this, you don't need this. Like, if you have Foxy, you don't need hot chocolate. Or if you have Bend and Snap, you really don't need, what is it, Gigi? Bend and Snap, you don't really need Gilded or Gigi. They're all very, very similar. And I'm just going to say that. And there's some colors where there's just a lot. Basic is very much like Cafe. I don't know. Anyways. There we go. Okay, Do Not Disturb is on. All right, here's my eyeshadow colors. Sabrina, Lullaby, Mama, and I'm using Salem instead of Black Friday because, again, it's cream. It doesn't set. I don't like that, and I'm only going to do half my face, but both my eyes. I really want to show color correcting for maturing skin, so I'm going to show you here live because I'm 43, and I like talking about maturing skin because I cleaned my camera. because my skin's not 20. My skin's not 30. And lately in the last couple years, since I've gotten into my 40s, it's changing more and more where my discoloration it almost seems like it's different every day and more is coming in. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't think anybody does. But not a lot of people have the luxury of getting older, and so you embrace it, and you should embrace it. And so I like using My Saint makeup because it works with this fact that my skin is different all the time. All right, my kids are just finishing up their school break, and then they're going back down. Okay, and then we have workers outside. My dog is barking. It's a lot. All right, I'm going to prep my face. I like letting this kind of sink in. Okay, is Kiss near the color of Leo? You know, that I'm going to say is a really great question because Leo is matte, where Kiss is a shimmer. So let's watch it. That's why I like doing this. All right, so here's Leo. I wore Leo with Kiss the other day. So here is Leo. Okay, there's Leo, and here is, I feel like it's brighter. It's close, but it's more bright. I would say it's more spring, whereas Leo is more fall. But they still go together. I did a look. I don't know if you're in my Facebook group. If you're not, you should. I post a lot more there than I do anywhere else. But I did Leo as my transition color with oak, and then I put Kiss on my lid, and it was really, really pretty. I like mixing colors like Leo and oak, Bubba. I like those as my transition color because I wear a lot of cool tones. So it's nice. Okay, we're going to prep the lid. Let's get it started. And I've been using 3 highlights. And it's because sometimes the mid of my face is different than the bottom, which is also different than the top. And so I've been using the 3 highlight method. I like it, but because of my stuff, I feel like the creams, they're so easy to blend that as the day wears, having something dense under it makes it really helpful. So I still do my color correcting. All right, I'm using White Peach to prep my lids just to cancel the darkness. Cancel the veins, cancel the darkness, discoloration that you start getting around your eyes. I'm going to clean up under my eyes. And then I'm going to go over it with my setting powder. I like this method. This may change as my eyelids mature, but it's still working for me. It's still working for me. I'm just cleaning up underneath. Okay. And then I'm going to set it. I lied. I'm not going to use my setting powder. I'm going to go into Mama, and I'm going to prep my whole lid with Mama. It's such a light color, and it doesn't turn. It's just very natural and pretty. You see how it just added that little touch of life? It's the very lightest of the pinks. I like to use my setting powder, and I like to use Cupcake. And then if I want it a little more pinky undertoned, I'll use Mama. I've hit 10. I like it. I probably gravitate more towards Cupcake, but today we're using Mama. And then I'm going to take the same brush. I'm just using the blend brush. Not really an eyeshadow brush, but it's a really good. You'll use this brush a lot. And I'm just going to pop Sabrina, which is very similar to Drift. Do they have any sales coming up? That is an excellent question. They're rolling things out really slow this week. We're having a virtual conference right now where they have released all of the perfumes for sale. I'm not a fan of perfumes. I like the scented tins when they do scented tins like Peach and the Fruit Punch collection. The perfumed illuminators, I'm not a big fan of. I think they smell like bathroom soaps. But the perfumes themselves, I wish they had more stick. By the time you get in your car, the scent is gone. And that's why I don't like them. It's not because the scents are bad, because they are beautiful. I think when you mix them with makeup and put them into an illuminator, something else changes and they're different. They smell different, and I don't love it. I have them all. I've tried them all. And they're expensive. I'm sorry. They're expensive. I think they're $25. But the perfumes are nice. I actually keep one in my car, like getting pulled over. I'm like, hi. I don't know. I keep one in my car. My daughter really likes it. But I mean, you're using it all day, and that's why I keep it in my car. So if I'm going to walk in somewhere and I feel like I want to smell nice, by the time I get inside, it's very subtle. By the time I leave, it's gone. So I don't promote them a lot. I would say majority of the people who have bought perfumes have returned them, as far as I can see. Okay. And I don't like that. It's hard to know. I am exactly the same. I do not, every time I've bought a perfume from anywhere, I'm always disappointed. I also like, okay, my favorite perfume that I've ever bought is called Pink Sugar. And it smells like cotton candy. I've always gotten compliments on it, and it's cheap. And I found it, I don't even remember where I found it. I think I got it in like a box, and I loved it, and I bought it. And I've never ordered online and been happy. I've never been happy. I've always wanted to try those dime ones. I'm never happy. Okay, let's get some makeup on. I'm going to use Lullaby as my transition color. And I'm also going to deepen it and darken it to make it 2 colors. I love Lullaby. It works really well with brown eyes. Oh, I really like it. All right, so we're going in, tapping it off. When you put this on, you want to go light. It's so pretty. You don't want to smash your bristles into your lids. I was just watching somebody talk about this. You're never going to get anywhere shoving your brush around like that. You're just not. Let's see. What did they discontinue? Based on the description, I was wondering about the scents. It's hard. It is. Yeah. So sales. I'm assuming something's going to happen for Valentine's Day, because they always do. I have not heard one way or another, but I'm hoping we'll find out I'm thinking we'll find out this week, obviously. Oh, yeah. You find Scents You Like becomes discontinued. Yes, there was one, and it's very expensive, and it was by Louis Vuitton. And it was called Contre Moi or something. And it was, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Discontinued. I was so mad. I had them at a Louis Vuitton store. This is how I get around paying for really expensive. I mean, it's like $250 a bottle. That's ridiculous. I make them fill up. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot my bottle at home. Do you have a sample? And then they'll give you like 4 or 5 samples. I don't wear perfume every day. So those are still lasting me, and it's been 3 years. so that was one that got discontinued that I really liked, because I would go in and get free samples all the time. All the time. I'm trying to think. I think it was about 2 years ago I went to Nashville and got more. That's when I found out it was being discontinued. Very upsetting. Okay, so I'm just going to keep. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I like Lullaby a lot. If you're just getting into eyeshadows or you don't know, this is what I like. Lullaby is safe. I like good and safe colors. So I always hold my brush up and down, and I let it hit that brow bone, and then I'll close, because I have those hooded eyes. And so I just keep everything above the crease, because I also want my eyes to look a little bigger, a little more open, because they are maturing. And I'm not going to nip tuck fill anything. I'm not. I'm too scared. My husband's too scared. He always thinks if I go in and do anything, I'll just die. All right, I'm going to go and I'm going to wet my brush on the small end with the Saint setting spray. I like using Saints when I'm going to wet my brush and go into eyeshadows, because it's hydrating. I don't know if it's the aloe. I don't know. But I do like Saints setting spray when I wet my brush. So I'm going to go in on the small end. We're going to press in to Lullaby. I put a lot on. And then I'm going to just deepen right here. Look at how pretty. See, it's nice and it's deep. And I need a mirror. But I like a nice deep. Look at that. Just one color, but it's done 2 things. Okay, for a second there, I thought I grabbed brush cleaner. But I'm just going to keep this on the outside of the lid. And then I'm going to use that fluffy brush, and I'm just going to tap it and blend it. Take what's left on the brush. We're going to go down here. We're just going to lightly bing, bang, boom it. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? And it's just one color, but it's 2. All right, going back into Lullaby with my damp brush. And we're going to go on the outside of that lid again. One, I'm using a denser brush because it's the small end. It's okay to spray setting. Okay, hold on. Is it okay to spray setting spray? When you burn, yes. So if you have dry skin, okay. Lights, what? It's, if you have a hard time, there's somebody here. This house. Nobody ever tells me when people are coming. I don't, although I did put it on Do Not Disturb. But come on. We'll see if they come knocking on the door and then I get to end my live. Not that it bothers me, but this is like a carve out time for me. And the people in my house know. We're just going to hope it's part of the workers. My poor dog, he's all locked up. Okay. That's just Lullaby. Isn't that so pretty? All right, now I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to rub into Sabrina, and we're going to pop that on the center of the lid, and then we're going to tap it over. If you and I put Sabrina up here, and you can't. I like a soft shimmer up here, and I do it first so that it doesn't affect where I place my Lullaby or my transition color. Okay, sorry, when you blend your highlights, is it okay to spray the setting spray on your brush? Yes. I think I interrupted myself because I saw headlights. If you have dry skin and you find that it's hard to move, especially sometimes with the contours, spray either your face, spray your brush, and blend. And it works great. I like, if you have dry skin, Saint setting spray, I have oily skin. But whenever I do people's makeup and they have really dry skin, that's exactly what I do. And it's so nice. And then you could take a fluffy brush and just press it in and give everything a final marrying, and it's so good. And you can use a beauty blender, you can use your brush, you can use whatever you want. That's very pretty. Okay, we're gonna go in with my eyeliner. I'm gonna use this. I'm doing sort of a soft eye, but I like Salem more than I like Black Friday. I would love to hear from somebody who likes Black Friday and how you make it work. Just gonna say, I don't know how people make it work, but yeah, okay. Why you ask is when you sprayed it on your face directly, even though irritates your eyes. So what I would do is spray it on your brush or on a beauty blender and blend it that way, and tap, don't swirl, tap to blend. I don't know why it would affect your eyes. Yeah, so I would spray your brush. Absolutely. You have a little more control. Our sprayer is not so misty. It's more squirty. You really have to commit to the spray. Otherwise, it's more of like a, which is great when you're putting it on your brow wax. But when you're putting it on your face, I like spraying the brush because you have more control on where it is and how even it is also. So I would absolutely do that. All right, I'm waterlining. I'm just using Maybelline Tattoo Studio. And then I'm going to go in with the Etch brush, which is right here. I love this. So I use my eye shader brushes. I still have it linked too, but I love that it has this end right here. You get this wet and it makes a really nice, precise eyeliner, which I might do instead of a liquid. So I'm going to take the small end and I'm going to go into Salem instead of Black Friday. If you're ever using any kind of black, it doesn't matter if it's Saints, Tarts, Max, CoverGirl, whatever, you want to do this first. Is that chainsaw? It's chainsaw. Okay, I'm like, what is happening outside my house? If it's affecting your eyes, yeah, just change the way you're using it as long as it doesn't affect your skin once it's on. So I'm pressing into my waterline, setting that liner, and I'm just blending up my lashes into my lash line here. I like doing this. It gives my eye just that little touch of lift. You see that? And oops, going into Salem, I like this color. I wanted it to be punchier. When I put on Junior Prom, that's what I was expecting out of this new color, Skyfall. I like Skyfall. You just have to really build it up, which isn't necessarily a bad thing when you have Salem already. Plus, I was expecting it to have a lot more shimmer. I mean, I've played with these colors. They're good. But I think with everything, there's always something. Is there a ghost in your house? What? Why? why. um, we have a lot of workers. I don't know if it's an Oregon thing. Tell me if this is an Oregon thing. I don't know. Railroad ties. My father-in-law loves railroad ties. We're getting some replaced around our driveway. Hello. And so they're doing work to replace them. And apparently it's a lot more intensive than I was expecting. I don't know what's happening outside my house right now, but I'm on a need to know. And I don't need to know, apparently. All right. So we're going to push this on. I'm going to get this brush wet on this end with the Saint setting spray. So I would say if you're, I almost want you to experiment, but I don't want you to burn your eyes. Try spraying on a brush because it shouldn't affect your eyes. Okay. Rhode Island. Oh my gosh. For a few months, finally saying hi. Yes. Hello, Marcy. Rhode Island. That is a side of the U.S. I am dying to go to. All right. So I have this brush wet with Saint. Okay. Oh, it's just there's so many. I can see lights on my drive. We are a heavily wooded area. And so I keep seeing lights coming through, and it's just because we have a lot of workers. So I just got it wet, and I have it just a little bit on the edge, and then I can go in and stamp with this end. And I love that. All right, grabbing a little more. I always tap off with black, but I'm going to stamp up. And I think when you mix setting spray with Salem, you get a better finish, and it lasts longer. I know it lasts longer than Black Friday. I am not a fan of, but look at that with this brush. It's so, good morning, Amy. This brush is great. It's their new brush. I was very excited. I wasn't sure about this end. I was super excited for this end, but I like that I can just take this brush and stamp and get a nice straight line. I like the multitasker brush, but the only end I could use for eyeliner was the small end. This is the multitasker brush, so I could use this for eyeliner, but this is nice and round, and it's a little fat, whereas this is nice and thin. Nice and thin, and you just stamp this on where you want it, and you get so much more control. Isn't that pretty? So easy, and this will stay, and it's not going to transfer the way a cream does. So I prefer Salem over Black Friday. I've never found a good use for Black Friday. I've tried putting it on and setting it with Salem. I'm like, why don't I just use Salem? It's very pigmented. You don't need to stack. Sorry, I keep seeing lights. All right, we're gonna go in and we're gonna do half our face, and then I'll do my brows. Hold on just a second. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go in with the blend brush, and I am going to use Aspen. So here's the deal with Aspen. It's dense. Honestly, the only reason that I like to put Aspen and Suede on my face, one, they work. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a cosmetologist. And for me, I want to know that when I put something on, my makeup is going to stay. So I was at a swim meet all weekend. I don't have time to go and do my makeup, and I don't like pulling makeup out in front of people to touch it up. I feel kind of douchey. And so I don't. All right, so we are just muting redness with Aspen. And when you have maturing skin, you're having smile lines, you're having things, and especially if you're just letting yourself get older, you don't want your makeup to accentuate that. You're wanting your makeup to make you happy when you walk by a mirror. But also, no one looks at you this close. Nobody but you. You're the only one that gets all up in your business and is looking at things the way. Yesterday, I got all up in the mirror. I was like, oh my gosh. But then I was thinking, I don't let anybody that close to my face, not even my husband. So nobody's looking at me that close. But I like Aspen because it works. It doesn't turn my skin gray, and it takes that redness and takes it away. That's all I want to do. I've got a touch of rosacea and it mutes it. It mutes it down, and that's okay. And then I can go in with my suede and I can take my hyperpigmentation, and it's creeping up like ivy, and can camouflage it. It's similar in tone. It works as an underpainting, especially in the winter when I'm not wanting to use a bunch of bronzer. But there's ways of doing things. There's a lot of hot things right now. Hot things, that sounds silly. But the serum drops that have shimmer in them, I don't know if anybody has ever seen those, but I don't use our illuminators. I do very rarely, and if I do, I mix it with another product. But I'm not a big illuminator fan because I have lines, I have pores, and I think it accentuates the texture, my skin texture, not just in like isolated areas here and here and here, but I have texture that's not the same. I mean, if you aren't 20, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to accentuate the texture of my skin. So I don't like those illuminating drops. I once put glow cream for SPF, and I looked ridiculous, and it accentuated everything. Things I didn't even know were there, and I didn't like that. So I like using these because they help dull it, but I'm still able to get the look I want without having to pile on so much makeup. And so with me, I like using balm. But if you're gonna use an illuminator, I would say pair it with something. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take out Bella because I'm not gonna use it. I'm using Stone. I've been loving Stone, especially for the winter. Come on, doggone it. Nails, man. Nails. All right, I've got so many tins on. Okay, I've got, what is this, Nova? Nova, I love Nova. Nova has a bit of a tint to it. I really like it for, look at that, it's got this really pretty tint, but that's gonna, I mean, you can see it accentuates every doggone thing. So we're just gonna use it with I'm gonna bronzer. I have a tutorial, it's called Brontouring, and it's basically taking your contour and putting it on, like, remember before contour was a thing? Before we had to buy our own special contour palette? I mean, you used bronzer. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna mix my contour, Stone, which has a touch of warmth, olive, ash, Stone, even cedar have a touch of warmth. I'm not a big fan of henna. I'm not a big fan. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I like wearing makeup though. So there's that too. But for me, henna and Astoria look dirty, and I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on, now that I've corrected, I'm going to put on a little bit of Frenchie under my eyes, just where it's dark. You can see it has that touch of darkness. I'm going to take that little peach color and really thin, just thin, canceled it out, turn to pink to get the look that I want. I'm going to go in with my blush and bronzer brush, and I'm just going to use this brush for the Brontour method. And I'm going to go into, this is Athens, it's just a touch too dark, and I'm going to cover my scarring right here. Little tiny bit. You're not needing a lot of product. This is 80% pigmentation. So for people who think, I don't want to wear a lot of makeup, I just want to even things out, this is your makeup, because your traditional makeups are 18%, and there's just something about creams. I'm not saying Saint is the end all be all, but I like that it fits in a palette and it's affordable. 16 bucks. When you find good makeup, you tell your friends. When you find a good restaurant, you tell your friends. That's all I'm doing. Creams are good. Creams are great. I would say Saint is the only one. This pigmented traditional stick foundations that are creams are about 40% pigmentation. And I only know that because it's 18% for traditional, and they say it's double. So it puts it at roughly 40%. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go, and I'm going to go into Candlelit, which is my main highlight. And that's where I'm just evening out my skin tone. Right like that. We're going in, and I'm just going to even out my skin tone, and I'm going to bring it up. And that's, You just don't need a lot. But this is what makes me feel nice, is when my skin is even and I can walk by a mirror in my own house and feel nice. There are days, I mean, I'm 43. Anybody who's been anywhere has gone through a little bit here and there. And there were just days where my makeup made me feel good. Maybe shallow. I don't care. Makeup makes me feel good. So I put it on. There we go. Okay. Boom. Going up. And then I'm going to bring this down because our face doesn't end at our jawline. We got our neck and you don't want it 2 and 2. It's not a mask. All right. We're going to go in. I'm going to use my contour and I'm going to use Nova together. We're just going to stamp into both. And I'm going to use circles and swirls. Now, when you're using a cream illuminator, we're going to put this on just like bronzer and we're going to go into that contour area. And you can cater this so I can tap into my contour and go into my halo, and then I can bring it up into that Nova and get it up into that bronzer area and swirl it around. And I like this because when you're using the drops, you don't have as much control. It is what it is when you drop it. You have all the control when you're tapping into these tins. And I can just bring this up and I'm not going to accentuate every nook and bump on my face. All right, I'm going to switch to the detail. I was going to use one, but I like the detail for my nose. I like the detail for my nose. You go to the top side. Makeup shouldn't change you into a different person. It should just enhance the things that you want to enhance. If you want to go full bore and go look like a glamorous goddess, go do it. There's times for that. I'm more of I'm a stay-at-home mom. So we just keep it pretty simple. We're keeping it pretty simple. So we're going to tap that on. I'm going to go right here. All right. So we're just going to tap this up. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to overcorrect. I'm going to overcorrect right here. I have a bit of a bump, and so I overcorrect the bump. And then I can use my brightening highlight just to come down. Down the middle. Super simple. And it just makes that nice, natural. Your face isn't one-dimensional, so you shouldn't have to put your makeup on like it is, where you take a foundation color. I'm going to take a little bit of my main and my brightening. We're going to go right here, and we're going to add a little lightness for that reflecting light. And you can apply your makeup based off of the highlights and shadows that are naturally put there by the daylight. And you just bring that up into that contour, and it's so easy, so nice. All right, we're going to go in. I'm going to use the same method that I did up here, because when you're having maturing skin, you have your under eyes, and adding a color that's way too light or too bright can create texture. So I'm going to take a little bit of my main highlight and a little bit of that lighter color, and I'm going to go right here. I'm going to see where my shine is, and I'm going to bring this up and into that inner corner. It shouldn't be this huge difference. Your makeup can be super glam in this palette, but this same exact palette, I can make it super glam or really simple, light, and basic to where I feel nice when I walk out the door. Sorry about the chainsaw if you can hear it. All right, but it's that simple. And if you like to add some extra pop, go into that brightening and put it right there. That's the only place you really need it. Okay, but when you're using 3 highlights, which you can do the collections if you're wanting to, it makes it really, really easy. Okay, let's add a little bit of blush. I'm going to go into Frenchie. I'm going to put that right over my scarring. I used to get really horrible cystic acne with my traditional makeup, and it would stay where I put it. It looked dry, it looked chalky. I'd crack in my smile lines, it'd gather around my nose. It didn't have the longevity. It covered the things, but there was a trade-off with it. But I wasn't clearing up my skin problems because I was clogging and suffocating my skin problems to cover them. And I wouldn't give them time to heal because, well, I had to go to work. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add pink grapefruit right up here. And add that little bit of pink. It looks like a lot. You take a brush, blush and bronzer. We're going to tap into this. The Chicken Light. Oh, my sister found it on Amazon. I have it right here. It is always with me. It's always with me. My Chicken Light. I don't know. Look at that glow. But my sister found it on Amazon. So I'm going to say just Amazon search chicken butt light. All right. And so just adding that touch of pink, it's not going to pull my scarring through because I used that Frenchie down here, and you smile and you just bring it down. All right. Contouring lips. So easy and so good. Just take any old brush. You can use your finger. And this is going to be nice. It's going to, jeez, hold on guys. I don't know what's happening here today. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I just need to fix a couple things. Today, I don't know if it's just because I got on here later, but this is driving me nuts. Okay. All right. Going in, we're going to contour the lips. And this will be nice because you'll be able to see from one side to the next why I do things the way that I do things. I like this step, and I always say, take what you want, leave what you don't. There's no rule. I mean, think of all the trends of makeup out there that are out there now. I mean, you don't have to do them all. Do what makes you feel good. That's, you know, I always get really disappointed. I mean, it's just everybody is different. Do what makes you happy. I'm going to take my main highlight instead of brightening, and I'm going to shade in right here. I'm going to cover up that outer lip line. When you look at lips, blend this in. Hold on a minute. Okay. Yeah, there was a lot. So when you're looking at your lips, I have this undefined line right here, and then there's another line right up here. And when you get older, you want to focus on this guy right up here. Not here. We're going to focus right up here. So I've covered that outer line right here, and now I have that inner line. And I'm going to keep it zoomed in. I don't know what to do about some of these messages. And I'm going to go into Indigo Contour. I have always liked this as a lip liner. I got away from it when Renaissance came out, and then I used it again. I'm going to line. I'm going to line my lips, but I'm not going to go to the corner. I'm going to come right here and right out here. I'm going to pop in and get that inner line. Color it in. I'm going to take, what do I want? I kind of want to use one of our lip and cheeks. Where do I have some? Somewhere. Ooh, with my new palette. I'm going to take, ooh, what's this one? This one looks like it'd be fun with a nice subtle eye. Ruby. Oop, sorry. All right, we're going to take the multitasker brush, and I'm going into Ruby. It's this pink right here with indigo. We're going to add that in. We're going to let them work together. And worry about that inner lip line. Let's see how that works out. Do you see how it just gives that definition? You don't need to add a bunch of hoo-ha around your lips to just keep them nice, and it just gives that little touch of tidiness. A little touch of tidiness. I'm going to do my brows really quick because I like the way it makes my eyes look, and then I'll add my mascara. Who has questions? Does anybody have questions that aren't weird? Today is an odd day. I am going to talk about setting my makeup with maturing skin, because you can set with powder and still keep your dew. Look at that. I love adding all that stuff to my brows. So many chainsaws today. All right. Today's the last day, I think. All right. Flick, 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 flick. Boom. I think as the YouTube channel gets a little bit bigger, it just gets a little bit. Look at how nice that looks. Look at how nice that looks. Bottom corner, just draw a nice hard line and follow. I like to follow, what I like to do, because it took me a while to grow in my brows, is I take this big bulk block right here, and I let that be my guide up to where my brow arches. and I would outer draw my brows for a while until they grew in and grew back. And it took months for some of those hairs to come back. All right, so we're going to go quarter of the way in. This is a little more red on my lip than I like. I might change it a little bit because I still like pinks. I'm a pink girl. I don't know. All right, so we're just extending that tail, adding all that real estate, and then we can maybe add a little bit of eyeshadow if we need to. And I bring my brows a little farther in than my inner corner. I think it makes your eyes look younger. And so I do. All right, we're gonna go up and over. Okay, let's see. I want to change my lip color a little bit. I'm gonna use that pink grapefruit on my lips, or that was on my cheeks, instead of ruby. I'm not a big ruby. I wanted to love ruby, but I like pink. I like pink. All right, we're gonna do mascara. Let's set our makeup first. So if you are setting your face and it's getting in your eyes, gosh, I'm trying to figure out the best way to handle that. I would say, this is what I'm gonna say to do. Get a fluffy brush, and I'm gonna have you spray the brush. I'm gonna use Charlotte Tilbury because I'm oily. Spray the brush, just straight down and let it mist the tops, and then go in to your powder, and you're gonna start on the outside, and you're gonna work your way in. You're only gonna do one. Look at how nice that looks, but you can still set your makeup with powder without having to set your face like a chalkboard. So while your brush is damp, you have your powder and you can bring it in, but you still get that nice dewy skin glow. But adding that Nova in didn't accentuate the texture of my skin. My skin looks like my skin. I got everything covered that I wanted to get covered. Everything. I want more coverage right here. I'd say this is one area that I would maybe want to. But I'm scared. But the way your face can start and the way it finishes doesn't have to be extreme. It's just a subtle evening of, it's just evening the skin tone. It doesn't have to be crazy and punchy unless you want it to. I'm adding a little more pink. But creams are all, everything in here is your foundation concealer. I don't watch football. Okay. This is a makeup channel. But I like that I got to do half my face so you could see the rosacea, you could see the scarring, hyperpigmentation. It's still covered, it's still balanced. 43, and it didn't accentuate my 43. The way I describe things always makes things sound worse than they are. I always say whenever I wear too much shimmer, especially the powder illuminators, anytime I use too many shimmers, I feel like I look like I got lizard skin. It looks weird. And so if I want to add an illuminator in, I can bronzer, I can mix it in with my contour, and I can have control over how much. Because some of them you can wipe on and it's just too much. And it's really hard when you're working with any kind of shimmers, sparkles, it's hard to take it away. Real easy to add, but taking away is hard. And so that's why I like using, every time I color match people, I recommend the cream illuminators. I don't recommend the powders. They're just too punchy for me. And I think they're great for eyeshadows, but not necessarily for my face, especially once you start getting more mature. So that's how I correct, and I have my texture and my stuff, but I don't look like I have a crap ton on. I don't look like I have frosting on my face, because with creams you can very easily look like, I looked like a birthday cake for a week when I first started trying. So there's a learning curve to it, but once you know that, knowing to lightly tap and build and be where you want to be is easy, and that's it. So there we go. I'm gonna go make a full-on tutorial. That's inside my house. Okay, that's there's somebody working on Windows. I'm pretty sure. Okay, that's it. Have a great day.